Okay, everybody, we're going to take a look at a white star that we did last week. If you'll excuse the bird in the background, I apologize. This white star that we finished last week for Thanksgiving break was really nothing in particular right that we did. We did everything we were supposed to. Really, the reason we won so soundly was the multiple mistakes that the other team made. The first one being that they didn't bring their full force. We had 10 versus 10, and they only brought 6 battleships. That's obviously numbers count for something. Even if you have low level players, they can make a difference if they're outfitted properly. Problem number 2 is their loadout. Remote repair, I've almost never seen be very effective in a white star. It can be useful, but it didn't do them much good here, especially since they didn't use it, which brings me to point number 2, mod use. They had every excuse to cause a lot of trouble in this southeast sector, but they didn't use their mods. They had barrier, they had EMP, they had mass battery, they had high level battery, and they just didn't use it. Our group was coming from our gate almost directly south, broadcasting very loud and clear our intentions, and they failed to engage. We'll go ahead and watch their lack of response. Our overwhelming force kind of broke them. They just decided they didn't want to fight back. That's the only thing I can think of. They all grouped together, which is fine if you plan on moving and responding to what the enemy is doing. But in this case, we have a battleship with Delta 5, Stealth, EMP, and Destiny, and they didn't even respond to them until it was way, way, way too late. They saw us coming and just didn't do anything about it. They've got at least 2 guys with barrier in here that could have slowed us down. They could have done a lot of things to make this fight a lot more difficult than it was. And really all they did was retreat once they started losing their support ships. Like right here, for example, we saw this battleship make his move towards our assassin, and the correct move would have been to bring the one ship that they had with EMP or one of these ships with barrier in and trap them and kill them. It wouldn't have taken very long, even with the backup coming in, and they didn't do anything about it. They just let them kill their miner and move on. We'll go ahead and fast forward a little bit. This was our first trial with a Delta rocket. It was pretty interesting. You have to leave the warp gate and go to another sector to launch it. But not only first blood was drawn by a Delta rocket, but also second blood. The assassin almost wasn't even needed. So poorly were they spread out. They had no numbers and no way to counteract what we were doing to them. We had a constant barrage of rockets inbound, something that they could have moved out of the sector or done something to get out of the way, and they just refused. Okay, they used barrier once, but it didn't do them any good because we had a higher level barrier and we're able to pin them down and get rid of them. That was the one threat that we really had, and he wasn't even in the right spot on the map. All the action is going on the west side. That's where all our transports were. That's where all the relics are being harvested. It's I have a hard time taking this opposing corporation seriously. This battle could have been a lot worse, and they made it easy on us. So thank you. A corporation merger is always scary, and these guys helped us build our confidence. And you see towards the end there, we got a nice wall of defense, and they had plenty of time to get everybody back. Let's start over and take a look at our methods over in the West. The coordination for this was fantastic. Corporation merger. We had no idea what was going to happen or how well everyone would communicate and participate. And I gotta say, it was pretty great. As soon as the prep period was over, everyone's moves were plugged in, and everybody just started moving. We had a nice time warp chain all the way down and all the way back for anybody that needed it. Um, and our two mild threats were dealt with pretty easily. I believe the other team made a mistake. They had a case of Butterfingers, or they messed up in the time machine and couldn't get back and fix it in time, or something. Whatever happened, it didn't end well for them. We had one of our lower level battleships in position with a low level EMP that locked them out pretty easily. They had a teleport. That's where I think their Butterfingers were, and they landed right on top and then got stuck and just let us kill them both. They didn't last long after that. Got rid of them. Just poor strategy all the way around on the other side. I'm not sure a full complement of 10 would have done them any good whatsoever. But between their inability to coordinate and participate and our ability to do both, I think we did pretty well. The final tally was 30-0, I think, if I remember correctly. We had constant transports running in and out. We even managed to get to the level 5s and scoop a few. So that was it. Just a fun little recap of a joint White Star after a corporation merger. None of us really knew how it would play out, but it ended up being a lot of fun. We're currently in the middle of another one, and this one is a much bigger challenge, and I look forward to reviewing that one as well. Thanks again.